Hey everyone, welcome to Juenfo Kitchen where we just enjoy food. So let's enjoy this tender, flaky, flavorful, oven roasted stuffed snapper. So I'm gonna start with the dry rub for our fish, and in this small bowl I have salt, onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, sea salt, and all-purpose seasoning. I'm gonna give that a good mix, and I'll list the ingredients in the description box below. So here I have 2 snapper fish that I already cleaned, and if you want to see how I did this, the video for it is linked in the description box below. So I'm going to sprinkle on some of my dry rub on our fish. And I'm also going to add a tablespoon of my blended green seasoning. And I just made this fresh, and the video for this is also linked in the description box. So I'm going to rub all the seasonings onto the fish. As well as the inside. Because we want our fish to be well flavored. So after your fish is nicely seasoned, you want to cover this with plastic wrap and leave it to marinate for at least half an hour. So in this bowl right here, I have 2 cups of callaloo, courtesy of my garden, that I already washed, cleaned, and shredded. If you don't know what callaloo is, it's a type of green that's very similar to spinach, that's widely used in a lot of Caribbean dishes. And if for any reason you can't find callaloo where you live, spinach is also a great alternative. So I'm going to add 6 okras that I already sliced thinly. And I'm going to be seasoning my vegetables as well. So I'm going to add a teaspoon of my blended green seasoning. And the same seasonings that I used to season my fish. Just a small amount. Now normally when I make my dry rub, I'll save half for my vegetables, but that didn't happen, so I'm just gonna quickly go in with a light sprinkling of each. And this dish is very versatile. You can use any vegetable of your choice. You don't necessarily have to use the ones that I'm using. To make sure you cut them small enough to stuff your fish. And although fresh is best, you can even use frozen vegetables. Okay, next up I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of butter, and I'm adding that in small amounts so that it's easier to mix when I toss all my ingredients together. And sometimes I use coconut oil. You can even use olive oil, or whichever oil you prefer. Okay, so my butter and the rest of my seasonings have been nicely mixed together, and what I like to do next is to just divide the stuffing in two, so it's easier for me when I'm stuffing the fish. Well, obviously I have two fish, so I'm doing it in two. If I had more, then I divide it based on the amount of fish that I'm stuffing. So here I have my fish that's nicely marinated, and I did leave this in my fridge to marinate overnight. But as mentioned before, you don't have to leave it for that long. Anywhere from 30 minutes upwards is fine. Seafood in general doesn't really take that long to marinate. So I'm going to be using heavy duty foil to wrap our fish. I highly suggest that you use heavy duty foil. If not, I highly recommend that you double wrap your fish, because you want to avoid any rips or tears that will make your juices run out while you're steaming your fish in the oven, and your fish won't get a chance to bathe in all of that wonderful flavorful juice, and it may even become dry. So I've taken 2 pieces of foil, right, and I've gauged the size of the foil off of the size of the fish, bearing in mind that I'll be wrapping it, so I need enough room to do so. Alright, and the entire aim of prepping everything is to just make sure that you have everything ready before you start stuffing your fish, because it's a very messy job and you don't want to be touching surfaces and things while you're handling your meat and your stuffing and all of that. So what I'm going to do next is to use some coconut oil and baste my foil. I know that I added a little bit of butter in the stuffing, but fish tends to stick easy and I want to avoid all of that. So I like to baste my foil with a little bit of oil. So I'm going to go in with about a teaspoon, not much, and then I'm going to use my brush and spread that. Note carefully that I'm making sure that I cover the entire piece of foil, because the tail tends to stick a lot easier. So I'm making sure that I go all out and get the ends as well. Alright, so that's one down, and I'm going to do the other one. And some people like to use butter as well to baste their foil, but I find that oil is a lot easier and a lot less messier to spread. I'm going to grab my stuffing here and one of my fish, and I'm going to lay it down on my foil like so. And I like to align my fish with the length or measurement of the foil, if that makes sense. So what I've done here is to lay my fish in a way where its length aligns with the longer side of the foil. So I'm going in with clean hands. I'm going to grab a handful of my stuffing, and then I'm going to go in and pack that stuffing in. So now that my fish is stuffed, the next thing I like to do is to bring up both ends of the foil, and note carefully, I'm bringing up one end shorter than the other. So I'm going to turn this to the side so you can see clearly. Alright, and this is the reason I like to fold it over just like this, just like an envelope, and then roll and tuck. And then I get the other ends and then I roll them inwards like this. Now when it comes to the tail end, you want to be very careful. What I like to do is to just get a feel for where the tail is and then carefully roll that towards the tail, making sure that the tail doesn't pierce through. This is a mistake that I've made many times, guys, trust me. You want to avoid this at all costs. And there you have it, nicely wrapped fish. Okay, so now that both fish are nicely wrapped, I'm going to go ahead and place them on my baking tray here. And put these in my oven. And one of the things that I absolutely love about this recipe is that you can do all of this ahead of time, and when you're ready you can just throw it into your oven or onto your grill and you have a dish to serve in no time. So these go in my preheated oven and I'm going to bake them for 35 to 40 minutes at 185 degrees Celsius or 365 degrees Fahrenheit. Alright guys, so it has been exactly 40 minutes and now I'm going to show you exactly what we have here. There you have it, tender, flaky, flavorful, oven roasted stuffed snapper. Go ahead and give this recipe a try. You can also use whatever fish you like. You can tag and follow me on Instagram at Juenfo_ and all my other socials that are listed below. Please like, share and subscribe. I post new videos every week and I'd love to have you for the next one. Thanks so much for watching. It's always a pleasure having you in my kitchen. And remember, live life to the fullest and just enjoy food.